This program contains rare films of World War II originally shot in color, found during a 2-year worldwide search. Much of it has never been seen on television before. These films are presented now in high definition. Some images are graphic in nature, and viewer discretion is advised. Previously on World War II in HD.
A whale hit us. We just couldn't believe it, you know, a whale.
New recruit Jack Yusen's maiden voyage on the Samuel B. Roberts is cut short in the Atlantic, and fate reroutes him and his ship to the Pacific.
Our sonar guy is picking up a Japanese sub. I race up to the bridge to see what's going on, and one of the guys yells, "We're right on top of it." Feels good to score our first kill.
Also in the Pacific Theater.
It's damned frustrating. I want to be in the action.
Austrian immigrant turned U.S. soldier Jack Werner watches the heat of the battle on Kwajalein from the deck of a ship.
So instead of actually fighting, it looks like I'll be the man behind the gun. I make a promise to myself. I will never sit on the sidelines again.
Grant us a common faith that man shall know bread and peace, that he shall know justice and righteousness, freedom and security, an equal opportunity and an equal chance to do his best, not only in our own lands, but throughout the world.
For the past 3 years, nearly 65,000 American and Filipino prisoners of war have been at the mercy of their Japanese captors. They've been starved and tortured, and they're barely surviving. Their ordeal began in the spring of 1942, led by General Douglas MacArthur. The Filipino and American troops were trying to defend the Philippines against an overwhelming Japanese invasion force. But with the fall of the islands inevitable, President Franklin Roosevelt ordered MacArthur to personally withdraw and abandon his remaining men. What happened next was an atrocity only made public many months later, after 2 American officers pulled off a daring escape. Known as the Bataan Death March, the Japanese forcibly marched 75,000 prisoners 65 miles to an internment camp known as Camp O'Donnell. Along the way, they brutalized them, subjecting them to unspeakable acts of violence. An estimated 10,000 died during the march. Now, in the fall of 1944, General MacArthur and the American military are ready to return to the Philippines to liberate the islands and rescue the survivors of the Bataan Death March.
We find out through our officers that we're forming up to attack the Philippine Islands. We're going to be part of helping to liberate those islands and free those guys.
18-year-old sailor Jack Yusen and his destroyer escort, USS Samuel B. Roberts, are sailing with the U.S. 7th Fleet, part of an American armada of more than 600 ships steaming toward the Philippine Islands.
We're taking 250,000 troops. Our convoy is 20 miles wide, 35 miles long. Every kind of ship imaginable, and a few I couldn't have pictured even in my wildest dreams.
Yusen and his ship are going to take part in the first crucial hurdle in the Philippine campaign, recapturing the island of Leyte. Located on the outer eastern edge of the central Philippine archipelago, Leyte will provide the U.S. military with an important staging area to support the eventual invasion of Luzon and the liberation of the Philippine capital at Manila.
It's our job to keep any Japs from sneaking through and attacking our landing forces. If we don't do our job, men ashore will die.
As Yusen and his ship take up defensive positions off the island of Samar, 100 miles to the southwest, the U.S. 6th Army approaches Leyte's beaches.
As we head in, I can feel the tension rising. Just thinking that we are to be some of the first men to hit the beach.
First Sergeant Jack Werner is heading toward the beaches of Leyte. Although Werner saw action last year on Attu and later on Kwajalein, this is his first amphibious landing on a beach under fire.
As soon as the ramp comes down, we sprint across the water. A mortar hits right behind me. My commanding officer is dead, and a bunch of other guys are wounded.
Werner and his platoon sprint toward the thick dune grass at the edge of the beach.
It's so dense we can't see anything. Seems like a good place to take cover and regroup for a moment. Jap fire is coming down around us. I don't understand how they can possibly see us through the grass. And then it dawns on me. As we lay there, I discovered to my amazement,
that I was the ranking person in that group. As a first sergeant, I was second in command after the commanding officer who had been killed. We were really tuckered down there, and I really didn't know where that fire was coming from.
But it's up to me to figure it out and get us out of this. One of my scouts, this kid from Kentucky, crawls over to me and points up to the coconut trees. I can hardly believe it. Japanese snipers have tied themselves to the trees so they can pick us off with a perfect line of sight. I motion to everyone, ordering them to lay down a covering fire while the kid from Kentucky crawls into position. And just like that, he takes care of two of them himself. Reinforcements come racing in from the beach. They help us finish off the snipers and tell us to withdraw to the shore. I was only in command for an hour, but I feel I did reasonably well. At least I didn't get anybody killed.
When I'm in this plane, I'm so busy looking, thinking. There's so many instructions. It's a lot to know. But once you get the hang of it, you can do things that birds can't do.
1 year ago, 22-year-old Arkansas native Shelby Westbrook was a welder living in Toledo, Ohio. Now he's in Alabama, training to become a pilot with the Army Air Force's first all-black fighter group. Known as the Tuskegee Airmen, the soldiers train at a segregated campus. They are commanded by white and Puerto Rican officers.
We may have separate facilities, but it's a good feeling knowing that we're doing what a lot of folks said we couldn't. I could have gone into the infantry, but when the draft board started sending me letters, I made an application for the Air Corps. First, they were only accepting
college graduates for flight training. And then they ran out of college graduates, so then they started recruiting those with 2 years college. And when they ran out of the 2-year college folks, they came up with a written test. If you could pass the test, then you could qualify for the program. So that's how I came. Because I had no college training.
And now I'm a commissioned pilot in the 332nd Fighter Group.
Westbrook and the Tuskegee Airmen are filmed in color in stateside films like this one. Produced by the military, this film was intended to publicize the inclusion of African Americans in the Army Air Forces. After their training, the fighter group's overseas combat action is shot in black and white.
The briefing officer gets out this huge map of the entire European theater. He says, "Gentlemen, today we go after the oil